Hello, everyone. This is Kathy Mason from MasonWorks Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone with my friend Aage Nost. Hi, Aage.
Hello.
I think this is the perfect time to bring Aage back on Conscious Business Zone so we can learn more about how to be masters of our own destiny. He's a remarkable teacher of metaphysics. And he's written the last time he was on, he talked about his book, Universal Success Principles and How Billionaires Think, was really, really interesting. And today we're going to talk about all sorts of subjects like that. So, Aage, welcome.
Well, thank you. I have coffee in hand and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, this is a lot of times like us meeting at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
And a shared hearts experience. So, Aage, we're coming to the end of the year. The energies, especially the solar energies, are really changing people's perspectives of reality, of their reality, or whatever game we are in. What would you like people to know? Let's start with knowing how you started on this path of being a cosmic explorer.
Well, first of all, I'm going to say something that maybe will upset maybe somebody and maybe not. I was sitting in the living room of a billionaire, probably 27, 28 years ago. And he said something that stuck with me. Two things that I'm going to mention to you. And that first of it, it says, quit thinking about the past. You're not going that way.
Perfect.
We're coming to the end of 2023 right now. If you have not doubled what you consider to be success, quit thinking about it. It's nothing back there for you.
Perfect.
There's a new year coming.
Perfect.
And the other one that he said was that there's two things that go to the bank. One of them is goodwill, and the other one is money. And they have equal value at different times. Think about that, because goodwill stays with you forever. Money, that just comes and goes. When you do something good for somebody, they will always remember it.
Yeah.
And in order to be successful, all we have to do is know things that other people don't know. Like things they should have taught you in grade school and they didn't. They should have taught you in high school and they didn't. They should have taught you in college and they didn't. Why? It's because you're not supposed to know. The success principles are a well-kept secret among the ones that has it. And if you run your life by principles, the details will fall into place. People will show up in your life, help you do what you're doing. It is universal law. You draw to you what you want. So in the Western world, it's kind of like everything's turned into a game, the game of making money. Let me ask you, Kathy, if you were put in the middle of a soccer field right now and tell, go ahead with all the other players there, go ahead and play the game. How do you think you would do if you don't know the rules?
Well, I don't think I do well, and I don't think we have done well. Okay, I think that we have been in the dark ages.
Yeah.
And we are going to the Renaissance, which means that we have to be more conscious in order for all of those tools and techniques and consciousness raising awarenesses have to come into play so that we don't use things destructively. The alchemy that's available for anyone who's in the know can be used for good or bad without proper consciousness, correct?
That's correct. That's right. But it really helps to know the rules if you're playing the game.
Yep. And
We've never been taught the rules.
well, so how did you learn the rules?
The rules are in places that you will not find in the education system.
Right.
You have to find people that has discovered them. Rules, success principles are discovered. You can discover them by association or personal contact. I have been very lucky. Well, at least I was on first name with 3 billionaires, and I've learned a lot from them. And you find successful people that have what you want. Start associating with them. That don't mean meeting them for coffee or visit their homes and stuff. Yeah, you can do that if you have the opportunity, but you can read their books, watch their videos, read their speeches. That is a form of association that is extremely powerful, because that will give you the rules, the physical rules of actually implementing the mental and spiritual principles.
It's wonderful.
And those things is another thing that is not taught either. Like prayer is a form of request for manifestation. We were never taught how to do that either. That is why prayers don't work.
Oh, okay. So will you share one
Yeah,
of the insights of how to do it right?
yeah. There's. I wrote it down. In fact, because the church doesn't teach it, and let me see here. I can find it for you. Yeah, the church doesn't teach it. Education doesn't teach it because there is no advantage for them to teach you.
Right.
If the church was teaching you how to pray and get results every time, what in the world do you need the church for?
Well, the thing is if the consciousness is that we're all mirrors of each other, and this is a school, pretty much a soul school. If the earth plane is, then it changes everything. It changes the power over versus service to self versus service to other, because I think that we still need a way to have community. And
Yeah.
that's what church offered, was meeting places, community with like-minded people, but it got hijacked a little bit, not a little bit. It got hijacked to be power over.
Yeah. I think churches are okay to go and sit and meditate and ignore everything that is said.
Okay.
The reason I say that is because there's a lot of good people there.
Right.
And these good people, they have wishes and wants, and they have good thoughts, and they have good vibration, most of them, unless they show up on Sunday morning really badly hungover. But it's not a bad place necessarily.
Right.
So do your own thing when you go there. But the a prayer, I'm going to dwell on that, because people do a lot of it and they don't tell anybody because they feel embarrassed about it. And prayer is a form of, well, it's a request for manifestation.
Mhm.
And what we're doing, we are trying to communicate with the unified field where everything is. And most people that are praying, they call it heaven and they call it God and they call it whatever. And I'm good with that. But you are communicate with a unified field where everything is. Don't go there on bended knee and say, please, I am so unworthy, but will you bestow on me, please? That makes you look like someone that is not worthy of getting what you ask for.
Mhm.
So go there as an equal and demand it
Mhm.
and do it in detail. Have first decided what you want in colorful images, in detail. Put emotion into it, put intention into it, and tell yourself, it is done. I got it.
Okay, so then how do you trust? Okay, because this is perfect. How do you trust that manifestation? You see it, feel it, experience it. So it's
Mhm.
like Neville Goddard's work and some of the teachings, the metaphysical teachings. So you experience it as if it's already there. How do you trust and stay in that? Or do you let it just go create itself and go on and do your stuff?
That is with directed intention. When you ask for something that you do not have, you consider it done when you're done. See,
Okay.
nobody teaches how to do this except maybe Greg Braden. He touches on it a little bit. But the first one that taught how to do prayers was at least writings that is credited to Moses 2,600 years ago.
Oh,
And I'm going to read to you what he wrote. I believe it is in, I have, no, there are 12 books that is credited to him. I got 10 of them on my shelf.
wow.
And I think it's book number 6. He explains how to pray and get results every time. And I looked at what he wrote in there, and it made absolute sense. I'm going
Okay.
to read it to you. He says, like here, taught manifestation. Um, okay, it could be book number 9, but most likely book number 6. So he talks about it and says, do not flaunt or express your prayers among people who mock you. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
He says, go in your chamber. That doesn't mean going in the closet and close the door. No. And by the way, in the French language, chamber means bedroom.
Yeah.
So what he meant, be alone and go within your mind, close the mind down in meditation. That's what he meant by chamber. Go be by yourself. And then he says, know what you want. With other words, if you don't know what you want, how in the world can the universe help you? It will only give you to the level of the agreement that you made before you were born.
Right.
That may not be all good because you have the capability of revising that contract. Now, also he says, see it in your heart. And we got to remember the heart, the word heart and mind was the same word back then. They didn't
Oh,
have two words for it. So see it in your heart. That means visualize it and feel it in your heart. Because what we have discovered now is that there's a little brain in the heart with about 40,000 to 60,000 neurons that is responsible for creating emotion. And then he says, speak it aloud with emotions so the tears flow.
Mhm.
With other words, get in the game with yourself. Feel it in your heart. Feel yourself already having it, doing it, being it. Enjoy it. And then he says, know it is yours. With other words, don't waffle. When you do it one day, let's say at 4 in the afternoon, at 6, don't sit down and do it again and say, it's kind of like buying something on the internet. You go to their website, you put in the order, you pay for it, and you sit back. You know it's going to come. You don't call back the next day. Did that work? Will I actually get this? No. You expect it to happen.
Mhm.
Demand it. And then that leave it, the last one he said, leave it to God. In other words, know it's going to come. That is what he wrote. And this is the spiritual language. It's not one of words, it's one of feeling, emotion, vivid, colorful images, and intention by knowing it's going to happen.
Mm.
You tell yourself, I already have it.
Okay.
It may not be physical yet, but you have it in the field. It's yours. All you have to do is to draw it into the physical.
So do you need to then revisit that at all, or you just so people do? I've taught classes on vision boards
Yeah.
and all of that, and I'm always surprised when it shows up. It's quite amazing how things show up.
I would say don't turn into a beggar.
Ah.
With other words, don't do it every 20 minutes. But I would say, from what I've manifested a lot of things, and you can do it once a day to enforce what you did yesterday.
I see.
And that is why you phrase it and you see it. You see it in your mind already in the field, it's there for you. And you can phrase it in your mind in such a way that I will enforce the manifestation of it coming into my life. So you build on yesterday. So it becomes kind of like a Mobius loop. You're going back every day.
Well, you would add to it. It would get more clear and more clear and more
Yeah,
granular each time you did it. So,
yeah.
wow,
But
that's cool.
spend some time though developing it in your mind with all the details that you want in it.
So, Augie, how did you get the the in the intention or I don't know, the direction of reading Moses's books and the curiosity to decipher this metaphysics?
Oh,
What was your start? Did you do it as a little boy?
no, I didn't really start doing those kinds of reading before after I retired from flying in 1995. And that's when I started diving into all these esoteric books, and I ended up running around the country teaching a mind development course that helped me a lot, actually. We showed people how to assimilate information out of a book at the rate of 95% retention, about 50 to 100,000 words per minute. And this is something that that year I must have read 1,000 books.
Wow, that's how you did it. That makes sense. Because you did show me that course, and
Yeah,
it looks like a big discipline, a huge discipline.
yeah, it's not easy. You need to practice a little bit, but if you practice a little bit, you can get that to work, and it will open up a totally new world for you.
Great. Wow. Okay, so you in 1995 start realizing that there's multi layers to this reality, and that you can be the creator, you can be the artist in the art.
Yeah,
And then, so then what do you do? Because you've already been flying, been around billionaires, been you've seen, and you grew up in Norway. I mean, you've seen a lot of uh, cultural differences, mindset differences, especially if you were traveling the U.S. teaching that the brain functioning work. Um,
yeah,
wow, you've seen a lot more than most of us on in culture, in human instincts and culture.
yeah. And I did have some advantages, though. I was able to associate with billionaires and talk to them on the phone. One was in Hong Kong. I never met that guy, but we talked on the phone, and I got an understanding of the brain and the mind, the difference between the two of them and how they work, because we have the brain here and we have a brain in the heart.
Right,
They're
right.
hardwired to each other and to the pituitary gland, which is your antenna or the transmitting radio to the universal mind or the field, the conscious field. So once you understand how things work, it usually works a little better. And the brain is kind of like a computer. What you put in it, that's the computer program. So make sure those are good programs and there are no viruses in it. Yeah, right. there are, we get viruses every day, but we have to clean those. And that we can do in meditation. And another thing that I have done on the broadcastteamalpha.com, the website that Nori and I have,
Mhm.
I have put some recordings on there, how you can actually reprogram the subconscious mind for whatever you want it to be while you sleep.
Perfect. Perfect.
And that all you have to do is to go to YouTube, and then you can click on the join button, and
Mhm.
you can listen to those programs, because you turn them on when you go to sleep and let it run at night.
Wonderful. So I want to make sure people know that you mentioned Broadcast Team Alpha, and that's you've had that that site, I think, and been doing wonderful interviews for 8 years, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah, about eight between that and another show that I was doing. But uh, Nori and I have been doing Broadcast Team Alpha for 5 years.
5 years. Okay. Okay. Well, I gave you a couple extra. So what I love is that you're so kind with your and generous with your knowledge. It some people would be using the knowledge for their own gain, but you really are here to mentor people and to assist people with this positive creative time. There's no more veils. The energy is ripe for people to use their creativity right now, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And because the veil is getting thinner and thinner, and we can start to see beyond the veil and what normally we would be able to see before. Another thing that Nori and I did, we created this mastermind, and we do incredible things there. And what we wanted to do is to make sure that people could get these kinds of teaching, and it's free. We don't charge for the live sessions. You can come and join us on Sundays or Mondays and Wednesdays. and you can be part of doing some incredible things like creating rain out of basically clear skies when there are forest fires. And somebody that is in the hospital with COVID, and they were going down the tube, they were going to put him on the ventilator the next day. And we wrapped our mastermind around her, and we saw her walking out of the hospital the next day, which is technically impossible because they don't let you walk out of the hospital. They send you out in a wheelchair. But it happened. The
Yeah.
next day she was
Wow.
cured and she walked out. The doctor said, "Well, you recovered so fast that we didn't see any reason to keep you any longer."
Wow, that's fantastic. So I haven't gotten to go to the masterminds, and every time I get your email, it's like, darn, I already had something. Oh, this is so again, could you repeat when the
Yeah,
masterminds are available?
it's on Sunday at 2 o'clock East Coast time, 11 o'clock Pacific. And all they have to do is to send me an email at the excuse me, the mastermind connection
Okay.
at gmail.com.
Okay. And I'll put that in all of the descriptions so people can get that.
Yeah.
So you can see everyone that Augie is a great mentor and teacher. He also is demonstrating it for us. He's demonstrating what vitality is. He's demonstrating what clear mind is and what using your mind to create is. And we are creating every moment
Yeah.
in this reality anyway, but we may not consciously be creating it. So Augie, I want to ask some more about the programs. I've worked with several clients that do more the spiritual side of the programs, releasing the spiritual side, but that seems to be the common human dilemma is from 0 to 7 we took on these programs in our little cute software body that or we chose it before we embodied. I don't know, that could be either. um,
Mhm.
but we took on these challenges really of looking at life through a distorted lens. Can you talk a little bit about how your books and how your processes help people release these programs? Because I think we're coming into a time. The reason why I'm bringing this up is I think everyone's going to start being aware of it, and we can see what our programs created in our politics in our world today, and because they're global consciousness programs even,
Yeah.
right? Could you talk a little bit about that, because I think you're a master at this.
Oh, I've just been around longer than you have, that's all. But yeah, the when it comes to mastering your own mind, don't be alone. Snuggle up to somebody that knows things you don't know. That's all it takes. You can snuggle up in form of reading their books. You can watch their videos. YouTube is, I call it YouTube University
Oh,
because
okay.
it is so full of good stuff. And you learn from the ones that I would say you can look behind the video. Are they actually doing what they are saying they do? If you watch 2 or 3 or 4 of their videos, you can find out, are they just regurgitating what they have learned or are they actually doing it? That is really important because if they're doing it, that means they believe in what they're doing. They're not just copying someone else. So everybody should have a mastermind. You can have one at home. Your family. Let's say there's 4 people in your family. Create a mastermind of 4 people. Sit down and decide, what do we want as a family? We want this, we want that, and then decide on what kind of this and that. What does it look like? What does it feel like? And then sit down and close the mind down in meditation and concentrate on it and feel yourself already having it. You can do this in your own family, and it can be very effective. It is just as good as a vision board. Those are really good, by the way, because it's not just having it and then just look at it when you walk by. No, when you have a vision board, stand in front of it and look at each picture, each phrase. Look at everything on that board. Spend 10 minutes doing it every day or more. And when you feel yourself being one with that board, know you already have it. It is just on the board, it's only something that you already have. Now, when you do that, watch for things to happen.
Mm.
The opportunities come, and grab those opportunities, because opportunities are like doors. An opportunity opens a door for a period of time, but the door closes again. If you don't grab the opportunity, you may have to wait till next time there's a door opening.
Wow.
And that means you have to feel the opportunity. When there's somebody comes into your life and you tell them, about what you want, or they may say, well, I can help you with that. Grab that opportunity. But also don't do it blindly, because there are people out there that say things that is not so.
Okay. So I got a couple questions for you that I love this, and thank you so much. I really think that this is powerful medicine, powerful advice and medicine, especially for people right now that are feeling victimized.
Yeah.
Augie, why is it that we're so afraid of change?
Oh, it's comfortable where we are. Change is so, you don't know what's going to happen if you embrace change. What we have, even if it isn't all that good, we know what we got. It's
Yeah.
comfortable there. And the subconscious mind is very protective of itself. It does not let you, without effort, it doesn't let you expand. So the subconscious mind is in charge of 90 some percent of what you do every day. Everything you do comes pretty much from memory.
Wonderful. Yeah, yeah.
Cha-
I mean, and it's trying to keep you safe
yeah,
because knowing what you know is better than the other. But I can't help but try to go past what
yeah,
I like doing marketing is that it's changing. I have to be a constant learner to
yeah.
do this.
We operate from memory every day. So change your memories. You can do that by reprogramming the subconscious mind by repetition, or you can do it by hypnosis.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Noel put you don't grow in your comfort zone. That's right.
That's right.
That's perfect. And I want you to know that Felice wrote, love this idea of family mastermind or family. I don't know what family,
Yes, absolutely. Do it.
family.
Do it. Now, let me give you an idea of the power of the mind that you can actually create within a family, or if you come and join us on Sundays, there are things that you can do that will blow the minds off of most people because they don't think it's possible. Let me give you an example
Cool.
of someone else. In 1981, there's a guy named Morris Goodman. He was in a plane crash. The doctors did not really expect him to live. He broke his back right above the chest, somewhere in here. And he severed the spinal cord. He ruptured the diaphragm so he could not breathe without a ventilator.
Wow.
And the doctors, they say, yeah, you're never going to walk again. But he said, watch me. He knew the power of the mind. So he started visualizing a healthy, together diaphragm. In a matter of a few weeks, he had rebuilt the diaphragm so he could breathe again.
Wow.
In a few months, he had rebuilt the spinal cord, connected the over the break, and rebuilt the spine around it so he could walk again. And he walked into the doctor's office and he said, you didn't expect me to come and visit, did you? And the doctor just about fell off the chair.
I love that.
They were totally dumbfounded. This is the power of the mind if you are focused. Now, of course, he spent some time with us. He spent hours every day because he had the time. He was just laying there anyway. And this is what you can do.
Wonderful. So this is very similar to Bruce Lipton, or not Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza's story.
Yep, absolutely.
Where it was mind over matter. And I'm actually excited that so many people, it's almost trendy to do a Joe Dispenza event or go to one of his mastermind, or it's not a mastermind, it's like a retreat that he does.
Yep.
That but it's exciting that people are starting to really dig deep into their superpowers.
Absolutely. And I have a quick little advice for people, and that is, you shouldn't really give anybody advice because they'll come back and hit you. But here is one anyway. Quit being and doing what average people do.
Oh, perfect. Okay, say it again.
So quit doing what average people do. Because I have a saying, and that is that if you see, how was this? If you do what average people do, you're going to have what other people have. If you think like average people do, you're going to be like average people are. So just sit down and don't do like average people, because they spend more time planning their vacation than they do planning their life.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? Sit down, know exactly what you want. What do you want now? What do you want to happen in the next year? What do you want to happen in the next 5 years and 10 years? Set some goals like that. And then once you have the skeletons put out there, later on, when you take your time to build it, you fill it in with colorful images and emotion and intention and love. And when you do that, you are invincible. Something's going to happen to bring you up the ladder. Listen to successful people's videos, read their books. I would say listen to Greg Braden on YouTube. Absolutely. Listen to Joe Dispenza. And well, listen to me too. I got a few pearls in there.
Yes, you do.
And read their books.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this book right here.
Tell us a lot more about your book. I want everyone to get a copy of that book.
Yeah, this book is one. It will teach you how to use your mind in ways you normally would think would be impossible. Spiritual science, higher consciousness, thinking, and how to access the universal consciousness. And that is something that once you read the book once, if you read it 2 more times, call me. because then you are ready for stage 2.
Wow. Okay, so tell them a little bit more about what's in the book so that
Oh,
they might, because that's, you can feel the energy for people that feel energy. You can feel the energy just in you holding the book. But I know that you and Oric Vibe was on here for a while. I know you and Omar and Oric were all going through the book little by little because people were like getting
yeah.
much. So can you give us a little bit more so that people know why they need that book?
Well, it talks about a lot of different things that will make your life better. And both in the physical and the mental and the spiritual arena, it talks in the spiritual arena, it talks about who is God and what can we do to create a super mind. In fact, in the back of the book, I have a section back there on how to do time travel.
Yep.
And in the front there, I speak about how you can actually obtain something called city consciousness, SIDDIH consciousness. That is when you are all mind, you have no use for a physical body anymore. You use the physical body for ease of communication with other people, but you don't really need it anymore. You can travel, your mind can go places and do things and leave the body behind, and you can just experience the universe.
Wonderful.
So there is, and also there are success principles, probably more so if you are in business or would like to be in business or just want a more successful family. You can try this one,
Yep.
Universal Success Principles and How Billionaires Think.
Right.
It is something that I have been mentoring a few people, and they're doing really well right now. And they're very happy with the principles because once you set the principles in place, details fall into place.
Yes. Yes. That's so cool. So again, Oric Vibe heard me and she put a smile, a celebration and a heart. And then she said, after the first of the year, according to Omar, you're going to be doing that book again.
Yeah, that's
Doctors talk. So you guys, you have to understand that this opportunity is an opportunity to see your reality in a whole different way, where you take your whole existence into a different capacity to co-create at a very high level. And this is part of what this larger consciousness and this expandingness that people are calling ascension is really us expanding into this higher realm, where in most cases the co-creation is with everything. It's not just namaste
yeah,
others, it's with everything, because there's so much more here than what we see, than what we may
yeah.
sense.
Absolutely. And the book actually came about because of an incredible experience that I have when I was sitting in meditation and there was light started showing up around me with things in it. The universe was downloaded into my mind in both in concept and detail. And it was very quick. It took less than 10 seconds, I believe, from the beginning of it, the experience to the end, but the whole thing was there. So all I could do later was just think about something and it popped out. I can observe it and interact with it. And I thought about something else. Then the first one disappeared into the soup and the new one popped out so I could see it. So, so a lot of that is in the book about how the universe works and what it is. I explained the Big Bang never really did happen. There were no bang. There were, in fact, right now, science is coming around to what I wrote about 9 years ago, and that is that first of all, the Big Bang never really happened. There was a beginning at that level of vibration, but that has ascended into the vibration we are on now, which is higher than the one we started at. The one we started at started about 14 billion years ago, but now we are getting better telescopes now, so you can look further, and they find out that, wait a minute, we can see further back than 14 billion years, light years. What's wrong here? They're saying the universe that we live in is 92 billion light years from edge to edge. That cannot happen if we only started 14 billion years ago.
Right, right.
Because 14 and 14, according to my arithmetic, is 28.
The thing is we don't know so much, and again, I want to reiterate that I think we're going into the Renaissance, and what you're doing. We've been in the Dark Ages where we forgot our history, we forgot our divinity, we
Yep.
forgot our superpowers, we forgot how to play nice with others. We forgot a lot of things, and it wasn't, I don't really like the idea of the victim model where we say we were, that someone did it to us. I think that was the evolution to get whoever set up this game, even if it was us and we forgot, but whoever set up this game, they set it up this way. So right now we came into body right at this time during this huge change to help guide and co-create something unimaginably beautiful. And as long as enough of us see that, that's what we will manifest. Because I don't know what's going to happen to the people that are asleep right now. Your generosity to help people wake up is profound, Aage, and I just want to thank you so much. I don't know what's going to happen with the people that don't know that they're in the driver's seat and that they've created what they live.
Yeah, but don't feel too sorry for them, because
Don't.
they came here with a purpose of going through mundane things. In there is something that they had to learn, or in there is someone that they had to help in order for them to do something great.
Okay. Okay.
So, someone that's coming here and basically doing nothing extravagant, they're just having a good life, that is their purpose.
Right.
Because they may be, by what they do, they may be helping other things to happen that has significant importance. We don't know, and we don't see it, and they don't necessarily see it.
Right. Right. Well, yeah, the judgment, once you start going through all of this, there is no judgment because you know that everything's divine. Felice is on and she said, feel it when you brought your book up. And
Yeah.
she's a near-death experiencer and she's highly sensitive. So there's a bunch of us. I'm not a near-death experiencer, but I'm highly sensitive. That's what this time period of watching people, also a lot of people leaving the earth plane. Do you have any recommendations of how to deal with the people that are dealing with the loss of a loved one or family member, or just dealing with the loss?
Well, there's one thing to remember, that is that nobody dies.
Perfect.
We don't lose them. They are still with us in our mind, and we can connect with them. If you really want to connect with them, learn astral travel. In fact, on the mastermind, we teach these things. So if you learn how to do that, you can leave the body and use the telephone out there. You know what that telephone is? That is when you're out of your body. By, let's say, your consciousness is outside of your body, and you are concentrating on the person that you want to meet. Create a very vivid, colorful image in their mind, and tell them, come and visit. That telephone often works, not always, but it often works. You may find them coming to visit with you, and you can communicate. This does happen. I've done it with my mom, and she's been gone since 1997, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So now, so the first thing is we never die, which is a profound statement. And I've been a volunteer for the IONS, which is the International Association for Near-Death Studies. I've been a volunteer for them for 6 years. So
Mm.
that has been a tremendous uh, group of mystical knowledge makers because they came there and came back with the good news that basically, hey, there's a whole nother game level. It's like playing those video games. You get to go to this one and then you go to the next one. But what we're talking about is your psyche also here, because as the energy of the planet is increasing, more and more people are becoming empathic and more have more superpowers, is what I like to call it. But
Yeah.
they're their innate powers. Could you talk about that as well?
Well, we already have that super mind. We just haven't been told how to use it.
Right.
So all we have to do is to again snuggle up to somebody in the form of a book or a video that knows how to do it, and then you will know how to do it.
Perfect.
Information these days are so available to us. If somebody want to talk to me about doing it, I'm totally available to everybody that has purchased my books. Uh, if you get in touch, I will spend the time with you, because you'll be surprised how few people take advantage of that.
Wow. So, well, I know that at least in my experience, I've gotten to learn from you a lot, and you're on your own show, Broadcast Team Alpha, and then you also just started being on Conscious Awakening Network,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
are you on once a week on that?
We are probably 2 or 3 times there, something like that.
Wow.
Because we have a weekly show for Broadcast Team Alpha on Tuesdays, but we also have I have a paranormal show on Sunday night, and Nori has a health inspired show on Friday night. Yeah, Friday night.
And then
Uh,
you do Sunday with the mastermind. Wow, you're doing a lot.
yeah, so Sunday is at 11 o'clock Mountain Time on no 12 o'clock Mountain Time, and we're having a lot of fun with it. And I tell you, there's some good people. There's some good people, and we have kind of opened it up more now, the mastermind, because there are people that come in and visit, and if it isn't for them, they vibrate themselves right out of there, and we don't have to worry about them.
Well, I've been in masterminds before, business masterminds years ago that were very expensive. And it was one of them was called TAB, the Alternative Board. And you would
Yeah,
meet once a month, and you really could bring your business issues. It wasn't as personal development oriented, it was more business and productivity and bottom line, but it was accountability, and that was very helpful. That was very helpful.
yeah, and I looked at a mastermind like that for business purposes, and I found out that even though they had successful people there, they were teaching all technique.
Yep. Yep.
They're missing the big picture. That's the concepts that creates the techniques.
It's the mindset.
Yeah,
It's a construct of how this reality, how you master reality crafting.
yeah,
I mean, really, truly, that's what we're in this time period where thoughts are things, thoughts are powerful. And if you don't control those thoughts, you won't get the results you want.
yeah. Because if you don't control your mind, somebody else will, and they will create in your reality around you for their purpose, not necessarily for your purpose.
Right, right. That's why it's so important to really be centered in your values and know who you are and
Yeah.
what's here for you. So, Augie, do you have any other insights for 2024 of this year that's going to be of change and hopefully of much more loving kindness to each other? Do you have any insights for 2024?
Yeah, there's a good saying out there that says it's going to get worse before it gets better. Not necessarily. It may look that way, but whatever happens when it comes to cyber attacks or anything that might happen, don't worry about it too much because it is made to look like something that's going to scare the daylight out of people, but it is necessary for a bigger purpose.
Okay.
The bigger purpose is that people will understand how sick Washington is, and they are going to need to get rid of 80% of all the people working in the Congress building.
Yep.
80% of them or more need to go. And
Wow.
that's going to clean itself out because not necessarily because people want that, because they need the energy that will replace them. And by intending for that energy of honesty, they will have to go away.
Yep. Yeah.
So don't worry about the future. I have seen the future. There's good things in it. I am not worried about the future at all.
Right. Perfect. Well, the whenever you do shadow work, whether it's on a big societal side, government side, whenever you release the and push through the shadow, you end up freeing up all sorts of energy, and you don't realize how much energy you're using against the shadow to keep
Mm,
it in place, when if you just were fearless and went through it, it's a potent creation force, right?
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Just create in your mind for 2024. Sit down, spend some time on it. Decide what you want to happen.
Perfect.
Fill it with colorful images, emotion, and love and intention, and place it in the future. Go back and visit it every day so you get drawn up that timeline to it, and keep doing it every day. And you're solidifying that timeline to it, and you're going to be all right.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So I want to let you know, Felice said, thank you both for facilitating the opening of the expansive space in which resonance and remembrance is activated. Tears of joy is being present with the energy of this conversation.
Oh, thank you, Felice.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah,
Yes, that's what we're hoping for. Remembering who you are, know that you are loved more than you could ever know, and allow that love, receive that, and co-create from there,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, Augie, thank you so much. We'll do this again. And thank you so much for everything you do. You're just such a blessing to so many. And I don't think you're probably thanked enough, but I want to make sure that you know how much I appreciate you, and I do have both your books,
Uh,
and I want people to know about your work because simple is good, but
yeah,
practice is important. Practice is important.
yeah. Come and join us in the mastermind. Send an email to themastermindconnection@gmail.com, and I'll send you a link, and come and check it out.
Yes, please. And thank you so much. So happy holidays, and thank you, Aage. We'll do this again soon, okay?
Yep. You take
So,
care.
okay.